All right, guys, compare and order decimals is lesson 10.7. So to compare decimals, you can do one of two things. You can use a number line, or you can use place value. So in our first example, we are going to look at how to compare two decimals using a number line. We're going to compare 4/10 and 2/10. All right, quite simply, we're going to begin with 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and we made it all the way to 1 whole. Okay, all you need. You graph 2/10, came across that one first, and 4/10, and the closest one to 0, or the one that's closest to the left, is less. So 4/10 is greater than 2/10. We're going to use those same numbers over here. And we're going to use place value. All we have to do is make our handy dandy place value chart, and we're only talking tenths, so it can't get any more simplified than that. We've got the ones place, and we have a decimal point. That decimal is really important. And we have the tenths place, THS. Okay, well, we'll start with 2/10, no ones, 2/10. And we've got 4/10, 0 ones, 4/10. You lined up your digits. We have nothing in the ones place. We have 2 in the tens place and 4 in the tens place. So you basically compare the digits that are in the tens place. So you compare the digits. And this again confirms that 2/10 are less than 4/10. It's the same thing. 4/10 is greater than 2/10. 2/10 is less than 4/10. Okay, we are going to continue. We're going to use a different example. And so that's example number 2. Good time to complete your notes for example 1. Okay, for this problem, we're going to order 3 decimals. For some reason, I think this problem is super fun. Okay, say that number to yourself. Okay, I hope you said 15/100. Then we've got, yes, very good, 38/100. And then we've got 3/10. Just because we have one digit here doesn't necessarily mean that this is the smallest number. Here I go. I am going to do a couple of steps. Line up the decimal points. And basically, I'm rewriting these numbers, but going vertically, and I'm lining up my decimals. That's step 1. Okay, in step 2, you're going to place a 0 to the right of 3/10. The reason you do this is so all of the numbers have the same decimal places. So what that means is I'm going to come over here to my lined up numbers. I'm going to put a 0 to the right of the 3/10. That way it looks like all of the numbers have the same amount of digits. You can put zeros after numbers and it doesn't change the value. It only matters where the number is after the decimal point, and then you can put zeros after that. It's not going to change the value. Final step, compare just like we just did the digits in each place value. Okay, you can write that down. This is where I like to use my highlighter. We have all zeros in the ones place, but now we've got a 1, 3, and 3. And I'm going to do this like it says in the book. It says greatest to least. So I have two numbers that are greater than the 1/10. So I still need to look at the next place value. The hundredths place, here's the tiebreaker. We have an 8 and we have a 0. We have found the greatest place value, the greatest number. And the greatest number, 38 hundredths. Since in the 10th place we have 1 and we have 3, our next number is 30 hundredths or 3/10. You can choose how you want to say that. We have found our least number. It's the one where after the decimal point you have a 1, and that's 15 hundredths. Right? And then I've got like a little final example to leave you with, and I kind of love this. Example 3. We have 4/10 and we have 4 hundredths. Well, this one's got more digits. So what do? We line up our digits again. And I'll put it over here. We have 4/10 and we have 4 hundredths. And what we're going to look at, we know the ones place is the same. So you look at the tenths place. And you have found the tiebreaker. 4 is obviously greater than 0. Therefore, we have found that 4/10 is greater than 4 hundredths. Okay, I don't think you really need this, but we got ones, tenths, and we have hundredths. And I'm going to make a little chart. Got messy because I'm going quickly. We have our decimal point. And we're done. Keep that in mind. That this next to the decimal point is 0 and this is 4. So obviously 4 is greater than 10.